moments of life because we are very consistent. We are like a constant, and that is how we want it to be. Thank you so much for making us a part of your life. Thank you for making us a part of your day. We appreciate you. Now, big ups to Emmanuel from Day Day. He sends this message saying, "Hello, Cassie. Sorry about the weather stuff. My radio is stationed on Eagles FM and my ears glued to it. Good afternoon." Thank you so much, Emmanuel. God bless you. Now, Emmanuel is a reggae fan, and earlier I played this song, I think a song from Bob Marley, talking about three little birds. So I know that got him in a way. Thank you so much, Emmanuel from Dede. God bless you. Keep listening to Eagles FM. Well, now it is workstation, and it is time for us to do something. Now, I've noticed something about the demonization of 9 to 5. These days, it almost feels like having a regular job has become uncool. Everybody wants you to either be an entrepreneur or be a content creator. Scroll through the internet, scroll through social media, and you will see everywhere people calling the 9 to 5 system a trap, a prison, a system designed to limit your freedom. And there's this narrative that people push saying if you're still working a 9 to 5, you are not thinking big enough. But is that really the full picture? Today we are asking a simple but important question. Are we over demonizing the 9 to 5 structure? Because for many people that do regular job, it's stability for them, it's structure, it's how families are fed, bills are paid, and dreams are slowly built. And at the same time, we can't ignore that some people feel stuck, underpaid, or undervalued, or even unfulfilled in that same system, right? And that's why there's a need for balance. But is the 9 to 5 truly a limitation, or has social media just made it to seem like one? Like I said earlier, there are challenges in everything, even in the content creation, even in business. People just look at business or entrepreneurship and think that, oh, once you have your business, you are the boss, nothing. But this is your business. And so people have to start alone. They start from sole ownership before they now spread their wings or spread into establishing in different places, or even having people on board where they have to delegate duties and everything. But in the point where even when you delegate, you still have to oversee, not micromanaging so to say, but you still have to make sure that you are there to oversee this business so that it is run to a logical way, to a logical conclusion, or in a logical way, because you can't just give tasks as a business owner and now go to bed because you're a business owner. So when people say 9 to 5, they are not just talking about clocking in at 9 a.m. and leaving at 5 p.m. They are talking about the traditional employment, the structured work life, like fixed hours. You have a boss, you have salary, you have duties that you have to do and everything. Then at the end of the month, you now take the pay home. Now you also have job security, you have predictability. Now sometimes lack of freedom or even your flexibility, so to say. Now, so when people criticize the 9 to 5, they are often criticizing the idea of conventional work, not just the hours themselves. And some people say if you're still doing a 9 to 5 at this point, then maybe you are not taking your life seriously. I saw a very interesting clip where a Nigerian business mogul talking about Mrs. Grace Ofere. She was talking about the fact that you can actually build your dream life with a 9 to 5. A lot of big shots are doing 9 to 5. The jobs that you, okay, maybe it's because of the pay, the difference in the pay, right? Because even if you work in a parastatal that pays so well, it's still a 9 to 5. Even if you work in oil and gas, it's still a 9 to 5. There was even this company, not company, there was this online boutique that did a video where they said that she will wear this clothes, that if you have a date with a guy that does 9 to 5, what will you wear? If you have a date with a guy that is into oil and gas, what will you wear? Not knowing that all of these jobs, no matter the state or the stage they are still like a 9 to 5. So long as it's not like your business, it is still a 9 to 5. But yes, the way the 9 to 5 has been demonized, you see that people now see 9 to 5 as, if you're doing 9 to 5, then you really don't know what you're doing. But the truth of the matter is, not all of us can do business. Not all of us can be content creators. People have to do what they need to do to put food on their table. Now, there is this opinion that I have that I want to share here today, that 9 to 5 gives you the structure. Yes, there are a few people who have not done any 9 to 5. The moment they left service, they went straight into doing their businesses. But where you served, that also gave you an idea or a structure of 9 to 5. And that is why some people lack that coordination, that some people lack that accountability, some people lack that structure, because they did not really witness or experience that 9 to 5 structure, or that structure that comes with 9 to 5. So for me, I'm just saying that a 9 to 5 job, in one way or the other, gives you structure, and that structure is what people need to admit. It's valuable that we admit. And at its core, I also want you to know that a 9 to 5 job creates a structure for your life. It creates rhythm. You wake up with purpose, you wake up in the morning, you're already planning your day around, you have clear expectations as to what you're going to achieve today, the deadlines and everything. And you operate within a system that demands that you have to be consistent. You have to be accountable to someone. And over time, that routine builds discipline in you. It builds a system where you learn how to show up even when you don't feel like it. You learn how to manage your time, you learn how to meet deadlines, and how to function as a part of the system or even the team, as the case may be. So now there is also this mental structure that comes with a 9 to 5. There is clarity in knowing what is expected of you, what success looks like. Now, when you see the stories or hear the stories of a lot of people who built their businesses, you understand that they didn't just jump straight into doing what you see them do today. We have lawyers who have diversified into, should I say, niche oriented content creation. I think there's a lawyer right now who is very popular when it comes to making recipes and all of that online. She's gotten a lot of brand deals, has traveled to a lot of places in the world. But she's originally a lawyer, but she decided to leave the courtroom. But did she just wake up to leave the courtroom? I think there was a point where she shared a story of how sometimes she would go to work and come back. So while everybody is sleeping, that time in the night was when she dedicated it to create content for her platform. And she was doing like that until it was easy for her to now pull out from the 9 to 5 system. But going out, she now has that mental picture, she now has that mental framework, or should I say structure, that helps her to know how she will plan her own self. Because looking at it, the 9 to 5 gives you structure. You already know what is expected of you, you already know what you're going to do. And yes, the truth is that we cannot ignore the downsides of the 9 to 5. Like every part of life, the 9 to 5 also has its own challenges. But today we are focusing more on knowing if we are over demonizing this 9 to 5 or we are overdoing it. Now, the thing there is, some people rather, do not want accountability. So they want a system where nobody holds them accountable. They just come do what they want to do and then they get away with it at the end of the day. But that is where the 9 to 5 shows you that you have to be accountable in one way or the other. You need to be responsible, not just for yourself, but for the job and for the people that you are working with, because you are not going to work in isolation. For everything that is successful, there are people who are working behind the scenes, and then you there who is also making sure that that is a success. So the 9 to 5 comes with a mental structure that helps you to understand that yes, it may seem restrictive, but it protects your life in some way. I don't know how I'm going to put this without sounding like I'm dismissing the realities, but that same system that people call limiting is actually that same system that creates stability, a sense of stability that frees up your mind for other things. So if you're in a 9 to 5 and you're feeling stuck, I want to let you know this afternoon that there is something that you can do. Try to research more, try to study more on how you can find a way out. Yes, not everybody will be a business owner. Not everyone is going to be a content creator. Not everyone is going to do something other than 9 to 5. But if in the case that you want to leave, there is a way you structure your plan. Now, financially, there is that structure that shows up. There's that predictability. And then you see some people demonize it. Oh, you see that your salary, that one that you're collecting at the end of the month, is just for them to keep you captive. That's the way people say it. That, oh, they are keeping you captive because you are relaxed. The truth is yes, because the salary is limiting to a point, but it comes with a steady paycheck. It comes with benefits. It also comes with that allowance for you to invest and build gradually. And I'm of the big belief that rather than just save, people should invest. Because sometimes you save, 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 and at the end of the day, something will now come, you now carry the money and do it or spend it on something that you do not even want to. But if you have that money, invest it in something. Invest it. No matter how little, invest it. Because as much as you're trying to save, I don't saving is good, right? But investment is also another way to save your money. So for me, I'm saying that rather than outrightly just invest that money, I mean save that money, why not invest it? Why not invest it? And that way you build gradually. Now it may not always feel glamorous. Like I said, this lawyer who used to be a full-time lawyer, and then at some point she said, look, my calling is in the kitchen. For me to be creating food content, at this point I'm leaving. But she didn't just leave almost immediately. She monitored the system, she was still in it, and when it was time, she pulled out. So don't just wake up and say, I want to quit my 9 to 5 because I'm tired, because of this, because of that. No, you need to have a structure. You need to be able to understand that it takes a lot of planning, it takes a lot of you going back to the drawing board to see what is going to work after you leave that job or after you leave that 9 to 5 before leaving. Now, that doesn't mean that the 9 to 5 is perfect. Like I said, for some, the structure becomes rigid. There are a lot of things happening and you're like, what is really going on? You don't feel comfortable and all of that stuff. But for me, I believe that this has a way of building resilience for you. So when you eventually have your own, you know what to do, you know what not to do, and you know how to manage yours better. Because it's like a learning ground, it's a learning point for you. Because whatever you do at that job is how you continue. People don't learn carelessness, or people don't just wake up and start to be careless or lackadaisical about things. As you continue to be lackadaisical about someone's job or about the job you're doing, thinking it's for them, that is how it grows. You don't just wake up and then you ditch it. That is how it's going to be. So even when you're trying to be good in your own business, it's not going to fall from heaven. That attitude is not going to go away. And that is why some businesses will start there and they'll fail because they have developed habits or done things that were not good enough to sustain that 9 to 5 that they were doing, because they felt, oh, see, it's another person's work, it's another person's job, so let me just do it shabbily, let me do it the way. But that thing you're doing is gradually becoming a part of you. So when it's even yours, you would not know how to differentiate it. And that is just the reality. So the truth is, many of the people who eventually succeed outside the traditional 9 to 5 system first learned how to function without one. And that is why I'm saying, now that you're still in the system, place these two side by side. The habits that you are developing while on the 9 to 5, the discipline you are developing while on the 9 to 5, the resilience will help you when you step out there on your own. So when we talk about the 9 to 5, maybe the conversation shouldn't just be about escaping the structure entirely, but about understanding how to use that structure as a tool, not a cage. I don't know if there is anyone out there who can relate to what I'm saying, but yes, it's very important that we look at this from this lens. I feel like we're over demonizing the 9 to 5, because when you eventually have your own business or when you even get your own brand, you're still going to employ people, right? Because people are still going to be there to help you function. You cannot do your business all by yourself. So your business will also become a 9 to 5 for someone else. So imagine that they also demonize your own and everything. So it's like a circle that keeps going round and round and round. So whatever it is that you are doing right now, you have to take it very seriously. You have to build certain characteristics or traits that will help you to thrive even when you're no longer in that 9 to 5 system. Yes, some people are struggling in their 9 to 5, and it's understandable. There are things that need to be done better, but I think that it could also be a way out for you. It can also be a way out because in one way or the other, the 9 to 5 gives structure. And I think that that is a structure that people underrate a lot. That is a structure that people hate to admit. I am not saying that, oh, you have to it's perfect and everything. No, it's not perfect. There's no part of life that is perfect. Not even the 9 to 5. Not even when you go become your own boss. Nothing is perfect. It's even when you start your business and you now see, you're not facing the challenges directly. You are seeing everything directly. If you have to do okay food business and you need maybe your food processor needs light and all of that, you understand that you have to get diesel or you have to get fuel for your generator, and that's the point. You understand that everything is now coming back to you. You are not the boss they are coming back to. So all of these things, it's important that we look at things from the brighter side, because at the end of the day, the 9 to 5 may not really be as, should I say, as unfulfilling as some people take it. Why not focus on the lessons? Focus on the lessons and not really about the hours, not really about the experience. Even the experiences are important, because when you see how it is done, when you finally get your own, you know how to structure it. You know how to go about it, because really, at the end of the day, it's about picking from one to make up two, or picking two to make up four. And I think that is just about it for me. So let's try to see how we can reduce the demonization of 9 to 5. If you're a 9 to 5 person and you can hear me, there is so much that you can do with your 9 to 5, and I'm hoping that you are beginning to look at it from the brighter side and not focusing so much on the downsides, because if you focus a lot on the downsides, it might be difficult for you to move ahead. And I'm hoping that someone out there is inspired by this, and somehow God is going to help them. Thank you for listening to today's episode of Workstation. My name is Cassandra Yunube. Keep listening to Eagles FM Abuja. Remember, at the 1 o'clock hour, it's going to be the Girlfriend Show. Keep listening.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.